Hey YouTube, this is the Everyday Prepper. Thanks for joining me on the full review of my Gray Man Everyday Backpack. And so, as we talked about in the intro on the Art of Prepping channel, this is kind of like my low-key ultralight pack. Just to carry just redundant gear. This is not a survival pack or a bailout bag, get home bag, nothing like that. It's very, very simple. And so I estimate this dry weight at around 3.5 pounds at most. And I would have to say, if maybe add a couple pounds for water once I fill up my water bottle, and maybe another 1/2 pound for food, because sometimes I throw in a couple bananas on the way out of the house when I'm using this pack. I just recently put this pack together in this configuration, so that's why you're seeing it now. But I've used it off and on in different applications. But I went ahead and designated this pack for the sole reasons for everyday carry, just kind of as a very, very light duty, ultra light type of option. Now, as you can see, this pack system, it's basically just like a big, kind of like a one container type big drop bag, if you will. I'm not sure how you would say this, but it's just a backpack with one major compartment per se with drawstring. And so I guess sometimes they call them like a dump bag. So it has these basically very simple straps, very heavy duty though. This is like a canvas material. The outside shell is like a cotton, and then the inside liner is like a cotton polyester blend. And so it's very much not ideal for any type of, major weather or any type of inclement weather, I should say. And this is kind of a light duty type of setup. And so while I would never normally purchase things that are cotton or canvas, and today, in today's, assortment of different options, 16 years ago, I didn't really know much different, so I just went ahead and got this on impulse. Now, how this works, and this is a little weathered since it's 16 years old. It has little stains, just a little bit here and there. It's a little bit grungy. I just have little spots of rust on the hardware, but it kind of lends, though, in a very good way of kind of making it look like, there's nothing in there that's important. And for most people, they wouldn't consider nothing really in here very valuable, but yeah, it just kind of draws attention away from the pack. So the way I had this set up is that, once again, it's just kind of like a big dump bag in the, container, which is like 95% of the content space is in the, just the main bag portion. And what we have here is this container, or this compartment, I should say. Excuse me, my voice is a little raspy and everything. I have a little allergies. It's not bad or nothing. It's just when I get up super early in the morning, I get a little drainage this time of year, and so that's what's going on. Also, I get just a little congested, so it's sometimes if I sound a little awkward, it's just because I'm trying to clear my throat, and I apologize for clearing my throat constantly. So how this works is that there's this like panel here. I guess you could call this maybe an administrative panel or maybe just an organizer, but so it has this Velcro strap, and then it has this zippered section here and over here. And so you bring it down, and as you can see, I'll try to do this all one-handed. Just have a very basic boo-boo kit here, first aid, that I have tucked in here. And then in this this front sleeve here, there's actually a zippered pouch pocket, if you will. And so it's real easy to unzip this. I could certainly probably put more things in there. I just try to minimize bulk. But I just basically have my notepad. And I don't think I have anything else in there. I think I used to actually have a multi-tool as well in that, but then I moved it. So basically that's all I have in there is my notepad, but definitely I could move things around or take things off my person, maybe like my bandana or handkerchief. If I don't want to carry it, I could stick it in there, or maybe put some Kleenexes or, chapstick, whatever I need to do. Now, in this compartment, there's like a little Velcro pouch here. And as you can see, I just basically have a basic, like a little Rayovac flashlight. And I have a handkerchief in there. I also have a little Bic pen just stuck to the side there. And I have over here a K-Bar Hunter model type of, folding blade. And so I also have here in this cross container, or this cross sleeve, if you will, just a little Victorinox Swiss Army knife, just a little basic one there. And so that kind of is how the front here is kind of put together. It's not like probably the best laid out system, in terms of the actual organizing space in there. It's a little bit difficult to get like certain things in each of those spaces, but I think for the most part it worked out okay for my needs. And so, I mean, if I really needed to have more organization, I could simply just put a separate pocket organizer on the inside compartment, which we're going now. So it has this snap, and it kind of folds back. And then what you'll see, it has this drawstring here. And so you can take this barrel, like clasp lock or whatever, and you can pull it all the way out. You kind of want to pull it all the way out because to get the full dimensions of the mouth of this actual compartment, you have to pull it all the way out. Now on the end here, I have like a paracord fob that I made so that I can actually attach it to this, just to kind of keep it a little bit more accessible. So especially if I have all this tucked into the main pouch here, I can usually just keep this little fob just sticking out just enough, but you can't see it from the outside. As you saw earlier, you couldn't see it, just so I can retrieve the actual cording, which what all they did is they just took a shoelace to make this drawstring here. So anyways, when you open up this pouch, as you can see, and I'm going to stand up so you can get a better look, it's just a big dump pouch, really. I guess that's the best way you could say it. I don't know all the fancy terminology for this type of style pack. I don't typically do a lot of these packs unless it's just for like hiking or backpacking, stuff like that. Even though I will say I have like a bug out bag that's kind of set up a little bit like this, but not so much in some ways. So in this situation, I have just some warm clothes because it's getting so cold. So I have this this nice polar fleece, what I would consider like an oversized scarf or just a neck wrap. And also I have a wool sweater right here inside here. Of course, this is an everyday bag. This is not like some crazy over-the-top survival pack. I have like a water bottle. Of course, I'd fill this up before I leave, just like I'd put food in here before I leave. I like to, put bananas in there or some nuts or maybe some dried fruit. And I like to kind of keep it fresher, so I don't like to put a lot of things in here just to keep it stored. I just have a habit on all my, EDC bags just to put stuff in there as I leave. Now, I have this... I think I've shown a video on as a gift giving ideas. And so after using it myself, I really liked it. So I got some for gifts. But this is the Sawyer Mini water filter. And so I put all the contents in here and it works really well. Just for emergency water filtration. And then I have some polar fleece gloves. And I got this polar fleece and it has like a face mask. This is a Carhartt, very warm. Just an extra backup, just a real basic acrylic. This is not one of my nicer 100% wool military issued, type of night watch caps. But this is just a real basic acrylic one, just to kind of, if it's not super cold and I just want something to knock the chill out. And that's just basically the compartment here. See how it is? I mean, there's nothing else in the main compartment. Now, there is this small little zipper compartment right here, which is actually really cool. Because there isn't any type of structure, and everything's falling down on me here, but because there isn't any kind of structure and like there's no internal frame, obviously there's no external frame, so it's all very flexible. And so it kind of is a little awkward in terms of how this pouch right here, if you fill it up with things that are real hard, or if you fill it up with a lot of stuff that is kind of bulky, it could push into your back. I don't really feel any pressure when I'm carrying this on my back, but it is a possible problem if you have, sharper edged items. Now, this is a backup battery that I can use to charge my cell phone in case my cell phone goes dead in a kind of an emergency situation. And then I have this little pouch, and that's all that I have in there. It's not like a very large pocket, but definitely you can get these things in there, no problemo. I'm not really sure what that pouch was designed for, but I do think possibly maybe like a sunglasses and like maybe just basic stuff. So let's take a look at this pouch. So in the smaller pocket here of this pouch, I have some birthday candles. One of which is one of those, it's kind of those trick candles that doesn't really blow out, if you will. So I got that, and I got 2 small boxes of Strike on the Box matches. I prefer Strike Anywhere matches, but in my area, they're very hard to find. And so I just didn't want to pay the premium online to have those come to me that way. So I'm still looking for some, but once again, I typically carry other means of fire making elsewhere. This is just really a backup to a backup. Underneath those boxes of matches, I have a nice strip of high quality type of ear swabs that could be used for other applications and for cleaning things, and a bungee cord attached to a little. It's kind of like a peach colored type of like keychain light. Now, in the larger compartment here, I also have my main fire starting backup instead of the matches, and that's going to be a Bic lighter. And I also have a magnifying glass there. I believe it's a 3 times magnifier, and to make fires as well, or to identify wounds if I got injured. Also, I have some AA batteries, alkaline batteries, for any kind of device that I would need. And so this is kind of a backup, these batteries, mainly for a flashlight or anything else that would probably come along that typically that I'm carrying. I do like, I mean, I have so many different types of flashlights, but I really like to have a 1-cell battery, and to be totally honest though, I do typically carry more like AAA size battery flashlights. But I do have quite a bit of, everything from CR123 to, it goes on and on. So that does change out sometimes, because sometimes if I notice that I'm not really carrying anything with AA batteries, I may switch over to CR123s in there or AAAs. So hopefully that gives you a little snapshot of what's in this little kit. So hopefully this was helpful to give you a snapshot on what's in my Gray Man pack. And so, like, once again, this is not a survival pack, a bailout bag, or a bug out bag, or any kind of crazy bag. This is a very simple bag, and I do supplement it from time to time for special applications if I'm doing something in particular. But this is just kind of to show you don't have to go complex on anything. My other, EDC bag is much more complex, but this one's just kind of a grab and go, kind of just, if I'm just going up to the grocery store or something, it's just good to have it in the car besides the get home bag. So I just wanted to show you. Hopefully this gives you some ideas. And let's see, anything else I need to talk about? Yeah, so I know I'm going to get some questions on like food. I get that a lot, like where's the food? As I talked about before, I put the food in there when I leave the house. And I get a lot of questions typically about what kind of food it is. Well, basically, you have to make that decision on what you like to eat and all that stuff, how healthy you want to be. There's a lot different types of healthier versions of trail mix. If you wanted to go more commercially made, you could just go with basic almonds, just a bunch on that alone. You can make all kind of things. Some people are into granola bars. I'm not really big on the whole oatmeal thing because it typically is cross-contaminated with gluten. But I will have to say, though, that dried fruits, even some freeze-dried vegetables, if you can afford it, because they are more expensive. I typically can't afford to get a lot of the freeze-dried stuff just for munching. But that's excellent, especially like the sweet peas in the freeze-dried format are very good. And I'd also say, especially if it's not a hot day, like today, for example, it's very, very mild. Very mild. It was pretty cool this morning, obviously. It's fall. But, like, for example, if I was to, go out right now, I'd put the water in my water bottle. I'd probably put 2 bananas in here and maybe grab a small bag of dried fruit or whatever I have floating around. It could be bananas, or it could be like mangoes or strawberries or whatever you have. And so that can really hold you over. Now, typically when I think of my everyday carry bag, I kind of look at it more like a 12 to 24 hour range holdover bag. Even though it's not really meant to be like that typically, at least in theory, I kind of look at it like that. So if I'm going to be going up to the grocery store, I want about 12 hours of capability minimum. And if I'm going like out of town, just for the day and I'm coming back home though, I'm not like staying over at someone's house or doing business, I would definitely want at least 24 hour capability. And this is going to be outside of maybe like my get home bag and stuff. I just want that to be dedicated. So I would beef this up quite a bit. In fact, I probably wouldn't take this bag just because there's less capabilities than my other EDC bag. And this is important though, just so you can have more confidence and more capability overall in your system. So anyways, thanks for watching, and you guys take care.